All right. Sorry about that, everybody. We had a internet outage there, apparently.
Right?
Freaking Comcast.
Somebody.
Just gonna blame Comcast.
All right. So, I don't know how far through it did we get through Pop Steaks did we get before it finally dumped on us?
I think we're like 5 minutes into Pop Steaks.
So about halfway through. Gotcha.
Yep. Unfortunately,
awesome.
It happens.
Indeed. So, that's right. My messenger is like, "Hey, you guys lost feed." Yeah, we know.
Yep. Unfortunately,
It happens.
So
let's see if we can get her.
now we gotta try and get folks back in again.
Yeah.
Hate it when that happens.
Yep. It just kind of is what it is. So
Unfortunately, sometimes. Yeah. So, anyhow, if you are watching, please get the show shared back out. We are working on it as we speak. So, let me go over here. Copy. Okay. Dooby.
Derb.
Herpaderb. So glad we got time to burn. Just saying. Part 2. Part dos. Dosey dos. El doso.
So, you want to keep talking there?
Yeah.
Guys? Since we are
We're trying
live,
So
Trying to
how
get
about
it
that? So how about that internet outage there?
Yeah, how about that shit? So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Humping bears.
Humping bears?
So I mean, if you want, we could go back and we could hit Pop Steaks one more time.
Yeah, go ahead and hit it
Or-
one more time so that way people can get caught up and
Okay.
finish out. So
All right,
we'll
hang
roll with
on.
that while we're sharing the show out. We hope you brought the aloe and sunscreen.
Bullshit.
Because these takes are scorching hot. Now, get ready for some raw,
You went raw?
gritty, and unfiltered takes from the old man, Don himself.
She can't say the truth because if it does, makes her look like an idiot. Because that's what she is.
These are Pop's Takes, right here on BB Nation Radio.
Bullshit.
All right, old man, what is going on?
Oh, there's a whole lot going on today, I tell you. Well, not this afternoon, but there has been this week with the Democratic Party and everything. It's been so. It's getting to be a shame. It's a shame of the Democrats that they have to decide between a dictator like Sanders. He wants to model it after Cuba, and Joe Biden, who's working with dementia.
Yeah, exactly.
And and that's their choices that they're making, and it's sad to see.
So what you're saying, you're calling out already right out the gate that Warren or Bloomberg or any of the other candidates right now from the Democratic field, you're saying they ain't got a chance between Biden and Sanders at this point.
Not right now, the way it's looking. I mean, when they've had that big primary, and then we're going into Super Tuesday, that'll really tell the story here in a couple of days.
Yeah, because they just had South Carolina here this last week too.
Right.
And South Carolina was a big one on the primary trail for these guys.
Yeah, and look what Biden did there.
Yeah, he wound up coming out the winner on that one, surprisingly enough.
About twice what anybody else had, including Sanders.
Yeah, exactly. So he came out of that with what?
50 votes or 51 delegates, something like
Something like that, yeah. Okay, so we have this article right here. We kind of talked about this before we started. Article reads, Sanders calls himself, by the way, this is from The Hill, Sanders calls himself an existential threat to the corporate wing of the Democratic Party. Now, we went over this article before. Let me get your thoughts on it.
I've got one thought.
Go ahead.
He's not just a threat to the Democrats. He's a threat to the United States government, or to our Constitution, the way it's written. He wants to make this another Cuba. Exactly what he says. He wants to be a dictator and run the whole country himself.
So he's looking for the bigger government side of things, where government is pretty much running everything.
He wants all government to run everything, and he wants to be in control of that government. He don't care about the individuals or anything else. Our country was built on individual liberty. And yes, the majority rules, but you also have to remember that each individual has their own rights. And he don't want them to have any rights, not unless he says so.
Right. Okay, so I have a soundbite for you here. This is actually an interview done with Bernie Sanders on ABC's This Week. So I want you to go ahead and listen to it and then tell me what you think afterwards.
You've also called yourself an existential threat to the Democratic establishment. I guess that includes House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrats in the House and the Senate. Don't you need their support to win in November? One of the big pitches that Vice President Biden was just making is that he can help make sure the Democrats hold on to the House, take back the Senate, and that you're going to be a burden for House Democrats and Democratic Senate candidates come November.
That's absolutely untrue. You know, the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, a group called Third Way, attacked me, and they said I'm an existential threat to the Democratic Party. And what I said is, yeah, I'm an existential threat to the corporate wing of the Democratic Party. For too long, the Democratic Party and leaders have been going to rich people's homes, raising money, and they've ignored the working class and the middle class and low-income people in this country. That has got to change. We've got to open the doors of the Democratic Party to millions and millions of people who are trying to get by on $12, $13 an hour, who can't afford health care, can't afford child care, who can't afford to send their kids to college. Those are the people we have to start paying attention to. I've known Nancy Pelosi for a very long time. I'm part of the Democratic leadership of the United States Senate with Chuck Schumer. It is my view that every Democratic candidate for president, no matter who wins this nominating process, clearly I hope it's me, we're going to come together because we all understand that Donald Trump is the greatest threat to this country in the modern history of this country, that he's a fraud, that he's a liar, that he's undermining American democracy. We're going to have Democrats coming together, but the trick is which candidate can reach out and bring new people into the political process who can create the excitement and the energy.
Hey, he is everything that he says Trump is. Every single thing. He's a liar. He hates the democracy. If he didn't hate democracy, he wouldn't try and get rid of it. Well, Sanders, he thinks that our people that build up companies and everything else and have their own private business should not be able to have any of the money that comes off that. That all should go to the government where they can distribute it to the people that don't want to work, don't want to do anything, too lazy to even think about getting up out of bed.
Right.
I mean, it's sad to see something like this going on in a Democratic Party. Instead of, when the Democratic Party started way back when, that was even before the days of the unions, and they were for the working class. They were trying to get better things, and they helped with the union to get better things for the workers, better way they are treated, the way they're the things that they have in the environment and all that kind of stuff. It was good. In fact, I was, back 40, 50 years ago, I was torn between the Democrats or the Republican Party. It's not the Democratic Party anymore. It's a party of a bunch of liberal people that want to take complete control of you and I and everybody else in this country. They want to take control of their lives to live the way they want them to and have what they tell them they can have. And I still think that anybody that goes out and works, and I know I started when I was 12 years old, and when I was like 14, 15, I not only had 2 paper routes, but I also went out and picked berries all summer long and beans and hops and all that stuff. And we were able to do that.
And you were thankful for it.
Oh, I had better clothes and everything else when I went to school.
Right.
I put away enough money when I turned 16 years old. I bought my first car, paid cash for it.
There you go.
And my dad never had to buy me a car. He would help me keep them up, like show me how to fix this or fix that without going to a shop or garage. But, in those days, the cars were a lot simpler to do.
Okay, so I got one more soundbite for you. And the funny thing about it is he actually goes on to talk about Bernie Sanders' pushback, saying he can unify the party. I have no doubt that if I win, Joe will be there. If Joe ends up winning, I'll be there. And then he says, President Obama, in my view, will play a leading role in helping whomever the Democratic nominee is. Do you agree with that one? Do you think
no,
at this point in time that President Obama would be more of a help or a hindrance?
I think he'd be a hindrance.
You think so?
Yes, I think so. Obama, he tried to stay with the Constitution as much as possible, but I do remember him saying it wasn't any good, we should get rid of it, but he did have to stay within it to a certain
Yeah,
degree.
he worked within the confines of
Right.
it.
And the two that he's got, one, like I said before, has dementia.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen it go through, my father go through that until he turned into Alzheimer's
Right.
before he passed away. And then you got Sanders. He just wants to be a dictator, basically. It's what he wants to be. He wants the government to control everything that we say and do and what we earn. And we can't prove ourselves because the government says we can't do that under his way of thinking. And he thinks that to somebody that doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to work and earn their keep, he thinks that they should have everything that the person who works and tries to make good with himself. And it's just, and I don't see Obama even, I don't think he's really wanting to get into this fight. I've heard a couple of small interviews that he's done. He's never done a big one yet, and he really hasn't been into, he's staying out of it as much as he can. There's several of the candidates that want to drag him into it.
Well, because they feel if they get his endorsement, they'll be the next anointed one, basically.
Well, that's possible. I just don't think that those two, either one of those, they're going to turn the whole Democratic Party or the hardworking class, the people that get out and work for a living and all that. Those two people are going to turn them all against it. Biden and Sanders are just going to turn them against the Democratic Party, and they're all going to vote Republican. And you can almost bet that the House will no longer be Democratic.
Won't be in control of the Democrat Party anymore.
Nope, because they're going to lose. They've already lost 1 or 2 seats already.
Well, in my honest opinion, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing at this point in time. So, all right, Pops, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. So thank you, sir, once again. And we'll be back next week with another episode of Pops Takes right here on BB Nation Radio.
God bless one and all.
All right, and that wraps up this week's edition of Pops Takes. Glad to see you guys made it back. And again, share the show out, please. And be sure to remind your friends to go ahead and hit that subscribe button while they're at it. So, got a quick news update for you. So, Josh, if you would be so kind as to hit it, good sir. All right, this news update comes to us from our friends over at American Military News. I know a lot of you folks have probably heard this one. This article actually got posted up on our Facebook page here the other day, but wanted to actually bring it up here on the show as well because of the significance of it. So, article headline reads, U.S. Taliban sign peace deal. U.S. troops to exit Afghanistan in 14 months. So, U.S. and Taliban signed a historic peace deal on Saturday aimed to end the 18-year-long war in Afghanistan. The agreement stipulates a U.S. force drawdown to 8,600 from 13,000 within 4 months, with the remainder to withdraw completely in 14 months. Yes, I said withdraw. A complete withdrawal is dependent on the Taliban's ability to fulfill their side of the commitment to prevent terrorism.
That's what she said.
The agreement was signed by U.S. peace envoy Zalmaid Khalilzad and Taliban leader Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar in Qatar, with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in attendance. Pompeo said the U.S. is seizing the best opportunity for peace in a generation. He called the agreement a true test of this effort. We will closely watch the Taliban's compliance with their commitments and calibrate the pace of our withdrawal to their actions. This is how we will ensure that Afghanistan never again serves as a base for international terrorists, Pompeo said. Pompeo also said that the Afghan people have rejoiced and danced in the street and are beginning to trade and move freely in the country. But he warned that effort must be continued to make peace work. Furthering the cause of peace will require serious work and sacrifice by all sides: the United States, the coalition, the Taliban, and the Afghan government, other Afghan leaders, and the Afghan people themselves, to maintain the momentum needed to reach a comprehensive, inclusive, and durable peace, Pompeo said. Pompeo also said that the Taliban must take a series of steps, including cutting ties with al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups, continue to fight ISIS, pursue communications with the Afghan government and officials, and embrace a more inclusive future. Victory for Afghans will only be achieved when they can live in peace and prosper. Victory for the United States will be only achieved when Americans and our allies no longer have to fear a terrorist threat from Afghanistan, and we will do whatever it takes to protect our people, Pompeo said. End of article.
Yeah.
Thoughts, John? I see you over here giggling.
Oh God. So, I believe, and I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but this would probably be the third or fourth time that they've been touting a peace deal with the Taliban's, since we've been trying. And then the last time that they were trying to do a peace deal with the Taliban, they went and suicide bombed us and took full credit for it and killed a bunch of our allies and said, we don't fucking care, essentially. And I like the new buzzer.
Right?
It's kind of nice. I've been kind of paying attention to this too, like I'm sure you have, and
right.
Many of our veteran friends that have too. It sounds like a pipe dream to me, honestly. Like it's fine and dandy. It sounds glorious, and I hope that it works. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not being a negative Nancy or defeatist about it. I'm being a realist about it. The Taliban are sneaky, and they're never gonna accept control of Afghanistan by another system of government. It's just not gonna work, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
But 14 months, all U.S. forces out of there? Bullshit. I don't see it happening.
Well, it's just going to be a matter of waiting and seeing what happens,
Right. And like I said, I hope to God it happens.
Right, but
I hope it does.
Yeah, this is also the first time that they've actually been able to actually sit down and sign a deal, too.
Right.
Of all the times that they've tried before, talks have been either stopped mid-conversation and both sides went back to their corners to start having at it again.
Yeah.
Or, it just, some incident has actually caused the peace process talks to actually stop. But this is the first time that they've actually been able to meet and actually come up with a feasible plan of action and actually have both sides actually sign it. Now, I've also, like our, a lot of our followers and stuff has said over there, and there's one guy that actually commented, he says, well, trust but verify.
That's exactly what I was
And that's
gonna say.
exactly what it is. And that's, in essence, that's what this process is actually going to be. It's like, okay, we'll go ahead, we'll pull out of Afghanistan, but at the same time, we're only going to do it in accordance with your guys' actions. If you guys aren't going to be acting the fool, then that's fine. We'll go ahead and bounce out. But if you guys are going to keep acting like freaking a bunch of jackasses and killing our people, we're not going anywhere.
Right. I think, not to question Pompeo's judgment, because he is a much smarter man than I am. He is, Mike Pompeo is a brilliant Secretary of State, and he was a brilliant director of the CIA before that. One of the things I would have tied to this is, they need to accept the Afghan free government. They should have to accept the Afghan free government. That is the government of Afghanistan. Sorry, that's part of the reason why we went into Afghanistan, was not only to oust Al Qaeda, but the Taliban. You want to talk about a brutal. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a dictatorship, but a religious, sect that is, ruling the country.
It's kind of like the Sunnis.
The Sunnis and
Iraq.
Shiites, and you look at the mullahs in Iran and stuff like that. It's the same thing, just a little bit more barbaric and a little bit more old school. They're not good people. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Personally, I don't think they give a toss about signing anything. I think they're in it for their own self-interest, and as soon as we actually leave theater, it'll be back to their old ways.
It's gonna get stupid again. Yeah.
I would love to be proved wrong on it. Trust me.
That's what I
love for that to be not the case. But I'm 10% willing to say that it's going to end up in actual peace. You know.
All right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So, all right. Well, with that being said, that wraps that segment up. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move into our next segment known as Dummy of the Week.
I'll spell it for you. D-U-M-M-Y.
Shut up, dummy.
You big dummy.
For every man, there's a woman.
And for every dummy, there's a dummy.
And now, your Dummy of the Week on BV Nation Radio.
I don't fight it.
Evidently not. Alrighty, for your Dummy of the Week this week. Headline reads, Florida hospital employee arrested for sucking elderly patient's toes.
So ridiculous.
Lee County, Florida. A 23-year-old man who works as a, quote, sitter for a Florida hospital is facing charges after getting caught sucking a sleeping patient's toes, according to arrest records.
Didn't have a safety ring. Yes.
France
I love it.
Bolorin was arrested early Tuesday morning for battery on a person 65 years or older. The victim, a patient at the Gulf Coast Hospital located in Fort Myers, told the sheriff's office that they woke up around 11 p.m. on Monday and felt something touching their feet, according to the records.
What?
The victim initially thought it was a nurse checking on them, but it happened 2 more times, records show.
Oh my God.
The victim told deputies they felt something wet between their toes during their third
Was it moist?
incident.
Moist.
Moist? They felt moisture between their toes. Nice
When
try.
when they looked over, the victim said they saw Bolden on his knees next to the bed, bent over at their foot, according to deputies. The victim said they quote, ripped their foot away from Bolden, and then he went back to the chair where he was previously sitting in, according to the records. Bolden is a sitter that watches the patients throughout the night, according to the arrest records. Hospital
Why
security.
would you have that dude watching patients?
Look at this
Hospital
guy.
security called the sheriff's office after the victim reported the incident to a nurse. Bolden was arrested and taken to the Lee County Jail without incident, and at this time he remains in custody.
Why would you, like, I have to agree with John. Why would you
All I
look
can
at
say,
this dude?
This freaking
all
guy.
I can say is feet are nasty. I'm sorry, they are. Ugh.
He's sucking on them.
And
freaking
hey, go
toes.
figure. Florida.
Maybe he couldn't get any jam or something, so he had to go over to the toe jam.
Maybe I'm gonna butter your bread. I've been waiting for that one all night.
It's just disgusting. And he didn't do it once or twice, but 3 times in one night. It pisses me off when people do that.
You're right.
That poor elderly guy that was in the hospital, though. Ugh.
So he did it to. Okay, so when you say he did it 3 other times, now are you talking he did it to the same person 3 other times?
It states in that the same person. The first 2 times, the victim thought it was the nurses checking on him. And the 3rd time is when he woke up because he felt the wet between his toes and kicked him. Oh.
Did it say wet?
Yes.
It did say wet.
It did
That's
say.
too bad.
I just,
Yeah.
I really,
But-
you know what comes to mind when reading that part about feeling the wet between their toes is Jim Carrey in The Mask just going.
No, that was
Or that was
Dumb and
Ace Ventura.
Dumber.
No, Ace.
That was
and,
Dumb and Dumber.
and in Ace Ventura too.
Oh yeah, I guess he did when he found out that Finkel was Einhorn.
And Einhorn was Finkel.
Yes, it actually says.
Finkel is a man. Oh my God.
Einhorn's a man.
Einhorn's a man.
The victim. It says the victim told deputies that something wet between their toes during the 3rd incident.
Oh,
it
God, that's just
makes you want to vomit. I mean, I'm sorry, but feet are gross unless you barely just get out of the shower. Then you're lucky if you might get a foot rub.
That's true story.
You don't want to even touch my feet after the shower. Like my feet have been destroyed too many times in my life.
I don't know how people can give pedicures. Oh, disgusting.
Manny Petty. With your
What?
Get a petty with. I'll give you a petty, boy. Mm-hmm.
He needs to deliver.
butter your bread.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. That's the correct hashtag for that one there, Mickey. He says hashtag cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Things that make you go.
So, all right.
All right.
Florida. Florida delivering again.
Yeah.
Florida delivers.
Oh my goodness. You
Wow.
never know what's gonna happen
Right?
in Florida.
And there's no known drug use involved with this at all. That's what makes
Yeah,
it
it
more
made
disturbing.
no mention of drug or alcohol
No
use on
drug
this
or
one.
alcohol
Nope.
abuse, and just dude's like, hey, I feel like sucking on a toe. Let's do this.
Oh.
Well, I'm trying to remember where it is, but isn't there a drink called the toe? Somewhere
I don't know.
where it's like literally there's a place here in the States, I don't remember where it is, but it's a shot of whiskey with a dead man's toe, where they literally take a dead man's toe and put it into the shot, and you have to drink the shot.
That's disgusting.
Oh yeah, and it's like black and half decayed and everything else. Still has the nail.
No.
Everything on. Yes,
Yeah, that's wrong.
I am
Richie says, lap it up with a biscuit.
a dirty biscuit. Oh wait, that's what Dakota calls.
Dakota hates the dirty biscuit.
That's what he calls a Cracker Barrel.
The dirty biscuit.
That's just.
Josh is over here looking. See, thank you right there. So your cocktail comes with
Canadian
a real
bar.
frosted.
Canadian bar.
Oh, it's a Canadian bar. Excuse me. But yeah, at this Canadian, it's like up in the Yukon or something like that.
Fuck it, I'll do it.
You'll do it.
I'll do it.
Oh, speaking of doing stuff, I totally forgot. I was supposed to do something on the air tonight.
What was he supposed to do?
And I actually had a standing agreement with Richie. It was a conversation that they brought up on WO radio about peanut butter and pickles. The whole peanut butter and pickle sandwich
That
thing.
sounds disgusting.
It does. But I am making good on my bet, and I told him that I would have one on the air.
We've got enough time
Live
for that
on
right
tonight's
now.
show.
We've got enough time
Or
for
on BB Nation Radio. So, and Josh is like, I gotta verify this shit. So anyhow,
do that next week.
We're gonna have to do
I
it
was gonna
next
say
week.
we
'cause
can
we
do it.
already had-
We'll do it next weekend because we're running short on time and everything else,
It's
and I
our
completely
glitch,
spaced
yeah.
it. So
Although I can say I've had sweet pickles with peanut butter on them, and it's actually pretty good. So is it sweet pickles or is it dill pickles?
it can be either or.
Oh my
I like
God, what
dill
is
better
wrong
than
with
sweet
you
though.
people? I'd rather do that.
I will
You
eat.
rather do the toe?
Yeah, because you know what? That might be a dead man's toe, but it's swimming in whiskey, which means it's sanitary because it's pickled in alcohol.
Don't forget the snorting cocaine.
What won't I eat with pickles though, J-Dub?
That's true.
God.
That is true. But no, I did say I would do it, and I need to hold true. Yeah, Richie's like, I've been waiting. So,
Richie.
I know you have.
Dill pickle or sweet pickle?
No, there's no which one it was set to.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
and
why I'm
there's
asking
the
him.
infinite windows coming right up.
Yes, sir.
So, Jade, sweet pickles are nasty. So, all right.
Pickles are delicious.
Alrighty.
Anyhow, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do our final roundtable right quick since we are running behind a little bit due to our technical glitch that we had about halfway through the show. So, John, you're up first, brother.
Do I do the safety brief? Not really. Yes. If you're gonna do cocaine, just don't. Actually, don't suck on toes. Don't beat your wives. Don't beat your husbands. As we've been saying, don't contribute to society. Don't take away from society. If you're gonna play a ball on the field, wrap it up. Get out there. Get out in the outdoors. You're gonna buzz me in a second, Josh, but fuck the coronavirus. The goddamn flu. Get out there and go enjoy the outdoors. Don't let this rule your life. You have like a 0.001% chance of dying or getting coronavirus if you're a healthy adult. But don't be a nasty human. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face if you don't have clean hands. And certainly don't touch other people's faces or toes. Don't suck on toes.
Panic mode.
Get out in the woods. Come see us at the Sportsman Show on March 12th through the 15th. Thank you, Josh. Come see us there. Come see Jesse from TFO. And he's also with Eric's Armory, so if you have any questions about that stuff.
And again, that's at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds.
It's at the Deschutes County Fair and Expo Center in Redmond, Oregon. So, my neck of the woods. With that, guys, thanks for watching. And that's my 2 cents.
All right. Mariah?
Get out and about. The nice weather's coming up. I've been outside and more active. Don't sit inside and bottle stuff up. Talk to other people if you need to. There's always an ear out there to listen. And yes, High Tech, I see you nodding your head.
And lift with your legs.
Shush. It's getting better. I myself had a kind of a rough week, but I reached out and talked to some people about it and everything, and it helps. So don't think you're alone out there.
Josh.
I'm going to lick your face, John.
Bet you won't.
No, I won't, because it's furry.
It is furry.
It's got a winter coat on still.
It's furry.
By the way, Jade, the Dapper is back in Sapper.
Get out of here.
Hey, Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, get out of the house, get out there, go do something. You know, we ran around. We went over to Cabela's and Sportsman's Warehouse, went out to lunch, and went up to Eric's Armory. You know, we made a whole dang day of the whole thing. And, you know, it was nice not to be sitting in the house. And actually, yesterday was a pretty nice day for a drive anyways.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't too terrible at all. Got a little rainy in the evening, but not bad. And, yeah, it's just good fun. So, you know, get with your family, get with your friends. Hell, go meet your neighbor if you've never met your neighbor, and you know, go have a barbecue or do something. So get out of the house.
All right. Well then, with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in. And what do you want, Mariah?
It's your turn.
I know it's my turn. I got the script right in front of me, so I know it's my turn. Anyhow, so appreciate everyone tuning in, even with the technical glitches that we had tonight.
You know how you fix this?
Super glue. Super glue. You know, that's what explains this whole thing. It's television. Professionals don't do this shit.
Bad
television.
Bad television.
Which, by the way, St. Patty's Day is coming up. So please, if you shall watch Boondock Saints while drinking mass amounts of Guinness on St. Patty's Day. Anyhow, be sure to tune in and catch up with yours truly. We will not be doing our Tuesday night show over on Spreaker anymore, so we are changing things up a little bit over there on the Spreaker side. Friday Night Debauchery is now going to be not just a solid rock show, but it's going to be kind of a variety mix type of round robin type of deal. So different theme every week. So, but we'll still be putting the jams out over there. So
how neat is that? That's pretty neat.
Yep, exactly. Got to open up the week for you know what? I haven't been to a Taco Tuesday in a long time.
And whose dumb fault is that?
It's the network's fault. I blame the network.
I blame Inga.
Yeah, she doesn't come out with tacos for Taco Tuesday. Shenanigans, I tell you. So, anyhow, guys, we will talk to you all, or I will talk to you all Friday night on Friday Night Debauchery. And with that being said, have a good week, everybody. And we will talk to you all here right back on BB Nation Radio. Same time, same channel. We will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
This has been another episode of BB Nation Radio here on Backwoods Veterans Media. This has been another episode of BB Nation Radio here on Backwoods Veterans Media.